Teamster Power 767 Reality Check with Jeff Schenfeld and Garfield Hooper.
Hi, welcome to another episode of Teamster Power Reality Check. We have a special guest today, Steve Zeltzer. He is a San Francisco-based labor activist, a journalist, and a producer known for his work in defending workers' rights. Welcome to the show, Steve.
Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be on the show.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess I'll get us started. I think one of the big things that I've always held about this is basically ever since I was able to vote is, we don't have a lot of worker representation in politics. We can sit here and talk about Democrats and Republicans, but when it comes down to it, no matter which side of the aisle you're on, you're getting paid by lobbyists, by corporations to make decisions, and that's going to influence, no matter what you say on the camera, that's going to influence you one way or another. And I would love to see a party in this country that actually, is made up of workers and has workers' best interests at heart. And, this country has been in need of a third party political party for a long time. And I think with the way the GOP is going, I think we might be in for a pretty deep change coming up pretty soon. So I would love to see labor take over a portion of that and really see some elections go the way of unions and workers, and just really have the people that are affected most in this country, the people that go to work every day and work their 9-to-5 jobs and go home and provide for their families. Those people are the vast majority of the people in this country, and they deserve better representation than they've been getting.
Well, I agree with that, and I would like to, frame this on the issue around AI.
Yep.
And what that means, because as you both know, the Teamsters were able to get a bill passed by the legislature to require a driver for trucks over 10,000 pounds. And it was passed, and it was vetoed twice by the Democratic governor, Gavin Newsom, who the unions supported in California. So, and Gavin Newsom actually has the ideology of these techno-fascists. We shouldn't have regulation. He's against regulation of the introduction of AI into the workplace. And we just had a conference in Los Angeles, including Teamsters, talking about these cameras, infrared cameras in trucks. But this is an existential issue for working people. There was a strike of AFTRA, SAG, and the Writers Guild, and they said they were going to be destroyed by AI unless they had protections. And so it's not just about writers and it's about healthcare workers, it's about teachers, it's about truck drivers, it's about delivery workers, tourist workers, all kinds of workers are affected. So it's a system problem. And both the Democrats and Republicans take money from the billionaires.
Yep.
They take money from both parties. And that's why, whether the Democrats are in charge or the Republicans, they're allowing the introduction of this technology and disregarding how it's affecting workers. And you have in California all these autonomous cars that are being introduced, getting rid of drivers. And that is what Google, with Waymo and these companies want. They want to get rid of drivers to increase their profits. Today, there's a big crisis in the stock market because a lot of software companies can't compete with AI.
Yeah.
Now, if that's taken away for programmers and people who are trained in computer science, what is it going to do to working people who do drive trucks? And one of the things we talked about at the conference was the whole situation of these infrared cameras.
Yeah.
Which have been brought into the trucks without any discussion of the rank and file of the effect of these cameras, which is causing cataracts and tumors to truck drivers. And the reality is they're using Teamsters and other truck drivers as guinea pigs to test their technology.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea that you're using the workers as guinea pigs who are getting injuries to introduce a technology which is going to eliminate you. And that's why they're bringing in these infrared cameras to actually eliminate drivers, human drivers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, this is like a critical issue. They know These companies know, UPS, Amazon, they know that it's damaging workers, but they've been allowed to do it. There's no oversight. These regulatory agencies, OSHA and other agencies, have been captured by the very companies that they're supposed to be regulating. So, and
Yeah.
both Democrats and Republicans, whether Carter, Clinton, I mean, in California, there are less than 200 OSHA inspectors for 18 million workers. Think about that. Less than 200. Nationally, there are less than 2,000 OSHA inspectors for the workers of the United States,
Yeah.
their health and safety. What does that say about what they think about working people?
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Both parties. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really sickening that when I see workers harmed by this technology, seriously harmed, destroying them, and used as guinea pigs, that's an outrage. And our unions fundamentally have to defend the lives of their members, their health and safety of their members. If they can't do that, what do we got? What do we have? Unions are the only organizations that we have to defend us on the job. And that's why companies don't want unions. And like in Texas, they want a union-free environment. I hear the Teamsters endorsed Abbott, who's against unions. He's for breaking all the public schools, getting rid of all public school teachers. Now, what would that mean for Teamsters in
Yeah.
Texas?
Jobs. I mean, it's more jobs lost.
More jobs and the privatization of education.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're all non-union, these charter schools. They hate
Yep.
unions. So you're talking about destroying the labor movement. Why would you support somebody who, as a matter of principle, is against public workers having unions,
It
teachers having unions? Unions protect not only the teachers, and they're on strike in San Francisco, they protect students.
Yeah, yeah. It's you listen. It's absolutely disgraceful. When we saw that, Garfield and myself, we were just like, "Is this real?" And people were like, "No, is this real? Is this happening?"
Yeah.
Like disgraceful that you know our JC, our Joint Council, and one in South Texas are backing this. And I'm saying, I put it out there. No, 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 no. You may be as leaders of the Joint Council, not me, and a lot of other members. We're not backing that one bit.
There should be a rank and file vote. There needs to be discussion and democracy in the labor movement. My union,
Course.
too, CWA. I mean, our unions have to be restructured. It's not a Teamster problem. It's not a CWA. All the unions, most of them are top down. They're organized like corporations.
Yep.
And if you stand up and challenge it, oh, you're the problem.
yeah.
You're the problem. I mean, I know for a fact that a lot of unions would not even have elections unless it was required by federal law.
Yeah.
They
Of
don't believe
course.
in
Yeah.
elections. They don't want to have elections because when you challenge them, and I've challenged officials in my union, it's like a personal thing. I'm after their business. I'm
Yeah.
getting in their business. That's how they look at their union.
Yep.
The
Yep.
business for them. It's not about let's have a discussion, debate, democracy of working people talking about the issues. And that's why this AI thing, there needs to be a debate, discussion, education throughout the country, not just of Teamsters, of teachers, of healthcare workers. I mean, they're using chat boxes to get rid of healthcare workers in Kaiser. They're on strike now. You don't need a healthcare worker. You don't need a nurse. They had a strike at San Rafael, Kaiser, laying off 44 nurses, bringing in chat boxes, AI to get rid of nurses. I mean,
Yeah.
why? For profit. That's what these companies care about. And it's like a business. We got to make more profit, whatever it is. At UPS, I mean, I was at that rally where Sean O'Brien said in the negotiation with UPS, they'd stopped AI and robotics. Well, how do you stop AI and robotics? I mean, the idea that you can stop AI and robotics, it's crazy.
And
Well,
To even say that. I mean,
They didn't.
You can't stop it. I mean,
I mean,
Well,
even-
he knows.
Yeah.
See, listen, he knows that they didn't stop it. But hey, it sure as hell sounded good, like he always
Yeah.
does, right? But the bottom line is, by him saying that, him saying he stopped automation AI, that means he didn't even put in any protections for us, right? He didn't, because he was just saying we stopped it. Oh, you stopped it, so we don't have to worry about it. No, that wasn't the case. We all knew. Well, a lot of us knew it, and that was it.
Well, one of the things that is going to happen in union companies is that this AI is going to destroy the pensions. If they get rid of 50% of the workers at UPS, where does that leave the rest of the workers?
yeah. Where's at least the
Yep.
people that have retired already that are already using the pension?
Their pension is going to be gone.
Yeah.
And they don't even care about it. They don't care about it because if they can get rid of 50% or 75% of the workers, more profits.
Yep.
Less
Yep.
workers to pay for. but the actual workers who remain, they're not at all secure.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's
that's.
what
I mean, UPS is dealing with that right now. Like, it's not. It's not even just the AI. Just Carol has made the decision to downsize the company. What is it? Better, not bigger. It was her motto, and now all of a sudden we've got Rhodey delivering stuff. We're giving volume back to the post office, and now we've got to get rid of 30,000 drivers. So and we can't even get our union to fight this stuff
That
the way
yeah.
the way
well
it should
that
be.
I
Like
mean,
things that are blatantly violating the contract.
well, the history of unions and struggles, workers having power on the job, is the way you defend yourself. The government is not going to defend us.
No.
I'm for regulations to protect workers, but the government isn't going to do it. And it has to be workers organized. And frankly, if I was a Teamster, I would be raising hell about the torture of Teamsters by these cameras and Teamsters being used as guinea pigs. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm being used as a guinea pig so this
Yeah.
company can train a camera to get rid of me and other Teamsters?
Yep. That's where and again when you say guinea pigs, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It is. We're definitely guinea pigs. And the thing is, the problem I have, biggest problem I have is the companies we know they're going to do their thing. But why isn't our union defending it? Why aren't they standing up? And here's the thing. But just quickly, like you said, they're trying to make it like it's top down, but no, it's bottom up, right? We know this. We know this. Unions were born from bottom up, and they forgot about that. And these leaders want to keep their positions, like you said, and they'll do anything to keep it except help the members,
Yeah.
the ones they're supposed to represent.
Yeah. And if
Well,
they
you
did,
want to organize.
if
If you
they did
want to
that-
organize an Amazon, if the Teamsters really fought to protect workers who are being tortured by
Yep.
this infrared camera, if they told UPS, you get these cameras out of the cabs because our members are being injured by them, which they can do. They can show that. I mean, I understand that UPS wouldn't sign a statement saying these cameras are safe. You know why they wouldn't sign it? Because they're not safe.
Yep, there was a memo. There was a
So, I
memo
mean,
out there.
if you say get those cameras out of the cabs, if the Teamster did that and forced UPS to get the cameras out of the cab, it'd be like a revolution because not just for the Teamsters, you could go to Amazon workers and say, you want to be protected? Join the Teamsters.
show us
Well,
something. Show us that you
well,
can do something about this.
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Back with the contract, that was supposed to be a strike issue.
Yeah.
Didn't happen because you got away from it. But my thing is, when they put the cameras in, we didn't negotiate it. So when we got into the next contract, they should have made them take them out and start from the beginning, and that was it. But they didn't. They didn't do that, and that's the problem right there. And they let it go, and they let them stay in there. And look, the health issues with you're talking with Eric Johnson. I mean, it's just what he's finding out is absolutely it's crazy, and depends on the medication you take. It could be worse. Like you said, guinea pigs, that's what we are. And we need like myself, Garfield, we stand up, we fight. We've been doing it for years, but people,
Okay, but the members have to wake up.
yep, that's the
It's
problem.
not somebody else that's going to protect you. If you
Yep.
don't protect yourself, you're done.
That's it.
You're done. And that's the workers in this country are getting royally screwed. No question
Yeah.
about it. They're
Yep.
getting, and we are treated like worse than dogs. When
Yeah.
they torture us, knowing, and the company knows that these cameras are dangerous. If they're over 60 hours a week, an infrared camera on your eyes, that's dangerous. They know that, and the fact of the matter is the union knows that.
They do. They
The
do.
union knows that. So if you have it's called business unionism. That's what it is. They're going to allow Teamsters to be tortured and having to get cataracts and tumors in their eyes because they have a business relationship with the UPS management. Is that what they're doing? They have
Yeah.
a business relationship with the management that is going to allow Teamsters to get tortured and used as guinea pigs for a technology that's going to eliminate drivers totally.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
That's what we're talking about. I mean, it's really insane. Why would you allow a technology without any protection to eliminate? But it's a real social issue. It's a class issue. It's a working class issue because millions of workers. Goldman Sachs did a study, and in the study, 350 million workers are going to lose their jobs. Where's our children? What's our future?
Yeah.
And the people that run this government these techno-fascists like Musk, Union Buster, who loves Texas. He loves Abbott.
Yeah.
Abbott and him are big
Yep.
buddies.
He
This
does.
Union Buster, I mean, they put their hands together. We're in it together because it's all non-union.
Yeah.
But these people, Musk, David Sachs, Peter Thiel, they're techno-fascists. They don't believe in democracy. They believe that they should run the world, and they should also go to Mars, spend money going to Mars when people here can't feed their kids,
Yeah.
can't get health care.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
insane. That's why we need a labor party. We need a political party that's going to be based on working people, on the needs of working people, not the needs of the billionaires.
Yep, and like it's always been. I mean, it's the working class versus the ruling class, right? I mean, and that struggle goes on. And the problem when I said like myself and Garfield stand up, but that's not enough. We need the, like you said, the person next to us and the next person, and we do this podcast to educate people and hopefully get them stronger to stand up, right? That's
Well,
what we
actually,
do.
we spend my union, your union, we spend millions of dollars on the Democrats, politicians. And where do we get for it? If we spent money on building a labor channel, 24-hour labor channel to educate people,
Yeah.
a
Absolutely.
channel to educate people about AI, to educate workers so they understand what's happening to us. I mean, in Sweden, I was doing a study or a project, a documentary on workers who had been affected by carpal tunnel syndrome, the scanners when they came into this country. And I interviewed a woman in St. Louis, grocery clerk, and she had gotten carpal tunnel syndrome on both hands. And they at that time they told people take an aspirin. They
Yeah.
didn't. They said it really doesn't exist. Just take an aspirin. It got worse and worse and was on both hands. And then they wanted her to have an operation on both hands to save money at the same time. Have the operation at the same time. She said, "I got kids to take care of."
Yeah.
Wow.
That's when she went to a lawyer. But then studying it in Sweden, under the law there, it requires that before technology can be introduced in the workplace, they have to do a study of it on how it affects workers. Like, hey, let's do a study. Is this so radical? How is this technology going to affect workers?
Yeah. Boy, that must be nice.
That's socialism.
Yeah.
That's socialism, like studying how technology introduced in the workplace is going to affect workers. The California Public Utilities Commission, when they approve these autonomous vehicles, there's nothing in their the rules of the statutes of the California Utility Commission. How is it going to affect workers? If they get rid of all the drivers, shouldn't that be part of whether something should be introduced in our society?
Yeah. And
If workers are going to be wiped out, is that good for our society?
yeah, here's my problem with all of this, with everything going on politically in this country right now. So many people focus on right versus left, and and what the real problem is the top versus the bottom. And there's a lot fewer at the top than there are at the bottom. And if you're sitting here and you're arguing on the right or the left with each other about it, you're doing so much of the work for the top already. And you need to realize that the people up there, the Musks, the Abbotts, the Trumps, the Bidens, whoever, when it comes down to it, they don't care about us. If we're fighting about them, then we're doing the work for them. And like, we should be focusing on the fact that these people are making decisions that affect our health and well-being and our livelihoods, and we're not getting a say in it.
Yeah.
Well, it's again going back to AI. This is an existential issue for the working class.
Yeah, it
And
really is.
neither political party has a solution. I mean, if you don't need workers in the introduction of a technology, where does that leave the working class?
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't need workers, I mean, the ILW, the longshore workers, when containers were coming in, negotiated an agreement that there would be a container fund, and that would pay for workers when they weren't working as a result of the reduction of workers. But you have in China ports that are completely automated. You don't need dock workers anymore. I mean, and this is where we're going in this country very rapidly. Very rapidly. It's not just a Teamster issue, it's a working class issue. If they get rid of all the drivers and they're bringing in, I mean, Newsom, who's a Democrat, and the unions supported Newsom and they support the Democrats, they didn't override that veto of Newsom of the bills that the Teamsters put forward to require a truck driver if you have a truck over 10,000 pounds. And the unions didn't demand that they override the veto. It was nearly a unanimous bill. They could have said to Newsom, screw you.
Yeah.
We're going to
Yep.
pass that bill anyway because we want to protect the public and drivers, and you're going to have a driver. They wouldn't do it. And the union, the Teamsters, and none of the other unions demanded it.
Yeah.
I mean, these people are not going to give us anything. They
Yeah.
want to take away. And the
Yeah.
agenda of these techno fascists is to destroy labor.
Yep.
Deregulation, Project 2025. It's about total deregulation, total privatization of public services, public education, public health, elimination of democratic rights. They have an agenda for the billionaires and
Yep.
now trillionaires because now Musk just merged his companies. He's a trillionaire now.
Well,
the country's
yeah.
going to hell, and workers can't take care of their children. They can't have a job. I mean, a lot of kids are living at home because they can't even buy a house.
Yeah.
So
And we're going to spend trillions of dollars to go to Mars. I mean, it's wild. It really
so
is.
let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question. Why would the president of the Teamsters back the current president of the United States if with that in mind, you're the head of a labor union and you back a president who's a known union buster. What could possibly be a good
because
outcome of that?
because he looks at the union as a business
Yeah.
and having a business relationship with these companies. I mean, it's a business deal. It's all about business. This is just business. Well, it's also about business to get rid of workers.
Yup.
That's
Yep.
about business too. So if you're in bed with business ideologically, we're just business unionism in a business, you're going to end up screwing your own members because it's in the
Absolutely.
interest of business to eliminate workers to make more profit. That's all they care about. But they're actually undermining capitalism as a system because capitalism is based on workers producing commodities, then you exchange them for a profit, surplus value, and that's how they make their profit. If you get rid of workers, who's going to buy the products?
Exactly.
Robots don't buy anything.
Yeah.
So you're eliminating the whole structure of capitalism by eliminating workers. But of course, each individual capitalist only looks at how much profit they can make more for their.
Yep.
They don't
Yep.
look at what the end result is going to be. And if you eliminate 100 million workers in the United States by automation, where does that leave the society? Where does that leave the system? It's going to bankrupt the system. And all the speculation that's going on, cryptocurrency, is this is a sign of financial speculation and crazy. You can't make money. You're not going to invest. You invest in financial speculation. That's what's going on. People don't know the value of anything. It's very dangerous. And we face, in my view, a depression because what happened in 2008 is going to happen even bigger with this collapse that we're facing. Because in 2008, they pumped trillions of dollars, Democrats and Republicans, and gave it to big business.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now, if they start pumping money into the economy, it's going to lead to hyperinflation. The dollar is already under attack. 5,500 went up to $5,500 for an ounce of gold. It means people have lost confidence in the dollar. They're undermining, and that's the other thing about the trade war. I mean, why would we attack Canada and Mexico, our biggest trading partners? I mean, it's like, and the other thing about tourism, there are a lot of Teamsters in tourist industry, clerks, truck drivers in cities. People don't want to come to the United States anymore. From Canada, from Europe, they're not going to places and they don't want to travel here. You're hurting your own members. I mean, San Francisco, a tourist city. I've been in the airport. The tourists are not coming. They don't want to come to California, to the United States. That's cutting our noses off. If you don't, I mean, people wanted to come to the United States to visit, to spend money here. And they're saying not only is Sean O'Brien saying, Sean Fain is supporting the tariffs and trade war. Tariffs and trade war hurt working people. They're pitting us against other workers. If we can't compete against China, having tariffs is not going to solve that problem. That's what they're saying. We'll have tariffs and that'll solve that problem. No. At least depression.
It does, and it does, and that's why it makes it more puzzling why Sean O'Brien would back some these things, because what it leads to, right? I mean, honestly, the president of the United States, he's the same thing. He's basically us versus everyone. Sean is like it's us versus everyone, but that's not the way it is, right? I mean, we need other unions. We need to be with other unions and join together, right? But when you
I mean,
say
one of the
no,
things there's a debate now about a general strike particularly after what happened in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
yeah,
3,000 arresting people, terrorizing people, going door to door with masks, grabbing people, killing these brothers and sisters. So the question is general strike. A general strike in this country hasn't happened. There haven't been general strikes since 1946. There was a general strike in Oakland. That was the last general strike. But what happened during those general strikes, and the reason that the capitalists, the bosses, hate them, is because when you have a general strike, everybody goes out collectively together. You shut things down. And then workers and unorganized places like Amazon, like FedEx, can say, we want a union. And in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, when you had the San Francisco general strike, hundreds of thousands of workers joined unions because they were afraid that if they fired a guy who wanted a union or they stopped a union, you'd have 1,000 or 10,000 people surrounding that company.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
basically, the collective power of workers forced the bosses, the capitalists, to recognize unions. A general strike in this country would be a way of organizing all the unorganized workers. The Amazon workers have been fired and terrorized because they want a union. We're closing you down and you have to recognize a union.
yeah,
It would mean that millions of workers could join unions. It would transform this country if all the workers at unorganized places were able to have unions. Think about it.
Yeah.
If all these companies were unionized, it would transform the society.
yeah, yeah. No, and again, I mean, that's part of the issue. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously, right? Let me ask you
We
something quick. Just a quick question. Wasn't there a wildcat strike with the longshoremen in Oakland years ago coming out because of some of this goods coming
They've
out of
had
South
wildcat.
Africa?
Yeah, they have wildcat strikes. I mean, they do. They can strike over health and safety legally.
yeah.
Yep. Yep.
And that's a
That's
powerful
it.
tool. If you can strike over health and safety, there should be a strike right now at UPS.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Health and safety, our cameras, we're getting tumors. And that's why this issue of workers' power, the best way to protect your health and safety about power on the job. When you take action on the job and you are being hurt, Teamsters are being hurt physically by these cameras. Is my opinion. If I was I'd be organizing. Let's going to take action. Get these cameras out. You write down in a document that they're safe. You can't do that because you know they're not safe. So until you can prove that they're safe, we shouldn't be subjected to them. ABC, common
Yep.
sense. This is
Yeah.
what we're talking. We're not talking about rocket science.
Not at
This
all.
is
This is
something
You're
that
talking about
people
human
know is
lives.
happening.
Yep.
You
And
don't have to be a genius
No.
to know when people get tumors and cataracts in their eyes because they're under this camera for 60 and 70 hours a week.
Yeah.
Something is wrong. And again, I, as a worker, as a human being, don't want anybody to be tortured. And that's what
course.
this is.
It
And if you
is.
put up with it, you got a problem. You got a slave mentality, in my view.
going back to the general strike, we have a hard time as Teamsters getting everybody on the same page. Just with the 1.2, 1.3 million Teamsters we have. I would love to see like a general strike of the populace but the problem is like once again everybody has this left versus right mentality instead of this top versus bottom.
Well,
And
I think actually Trump and Musk and these people are going to bring a general strike.
you think so?
They're agitators and provocateurs. I mean,
I would love to see it.
they're pushing it. They're pushing it. And the other thing is with business unionism, and so there was a witch hunt where they kicked communists, including leaders of the Teamsters of Minneapolis, were kicked out of the union during the witch hunt. I mean, the one general strike that the Teamsters led was in Minneapolis. Most Teamsters don't even know that.
Yeah.
And Sean O'Brien don't want the Teamsters to know who helped build the union. Who helped build the union? It was Trotsky,
workers.
communists in Minneapolis with workers. They had a successful Teamster strike. They organized over the road. That's where Hoffa, first Hoffa, got his ideas of over the road organizing from those Teamsters in Minneapolis. But the point is that it was through that power of workers collectively during the 30s that the CIO was built and workers organized by the millions.
Yeah.
We can do that today. So there hasn't been a workers' movement in the United States since the 30s and 40s. We
Yep.
don't know what a workers' movement is. I, with my gray hair, have never seen a workers' movement in the United States. We haven't had general strikes. They're illegal. And
Yeah.
yet, workers have the power to bring general strikes. When they took away the contract, union busted against federal workers, there should have been a national general strike.
Should have
Workers
been.
have the right to have unions.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But the reason that there's going to be a general strike is they have nothing to offer workers in this country. The basis of the witch hunt in the 40s and 50s was they could say to workers, look, you're going to auto workers, you could get a car, you could get a home, we can give you something. You don't have to worry about politics, you don't have to think about politics. What are they giving us now? They're taking away from us. They're taking away everything that we have. Not only, I mean, they're taking away our jobs, they're destroying public education, healthcare. There should be national healthcare like they have in Canada. Isn't it amazing that Teamsters in Canada have national healthcare? It's not
Yep.
part of the bargaining. Here, you negotiate and you're bargaining, and they say, oh, you're going to get your healthcare, but you have to give your money, your wage increase to healthcare
Yeah.
costs.
Yeah.
You're competing against yourself, and it goes to the insurance companies. It
And on
doesn't
top
go-
of that, if you're out for more than a week, you get your insurance taken away from you.
That's right.
Yep.
I mean, and people are afraid
Gotta
to
have the
go on
one
strike.
punch.
One of the reasons they're afraid to go on strike, they'll lose their health care. You have kids, you have cancer, you have serious health problems, and you go on strike and you lose your health care. We need national health care. We're not getting it from the Democrats or the Republicans. The Democrats were in the majority. Did they support national health care? It's not even an issue. In fact, they're talking about subsidies, ACA, giving more subsidies to the insurance companies. I agree with the Republicans about that, by the way. The Republicans are correct. We shouldn't give subsidies to the insurance companies. But the solution is, why have insurance companies running healthcare?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't all the money that we collect go to healthcare workers, doctors, nurses, and healthcare workers instead of insurance companies?
Yeah, what's the profits of combine the profits of every insurance company in America and tell me we couldn't provide health care for every person in America with those profits
Well,
alone.
I mean, Matt Gioni, I mean, that's why he killed that executive. Because
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is they're now using AI like United Healthcare to deny people their benefits.
Yep.
To make more profits.
Yeah.
So it's not about healthcare. It's about how we can make more profits by denying people healthcare benefits.
Yep.
That's why people are so angry in this country. And the officials of these unions, and not Teamsters, the AFL-CIO, the AFL-CIO is profiting in a lot of unions by selling Medicare Advantage. You know who's the biggest controller of Medicare Advantage? United Healthcare. They're destroying Medicare by turning it over to private companies like Medicare Advantage, which use algorithms and AI to deny your benefits.
Yeah.
You know
Why
what
would
they,
our unions being helping to destroy Medicare, which was built in a fight for health care for seniors?
you know what it is? They took the human factor out of it, right?
Yeah.
And they replaced it with, like you said, the algorithms and whatnot. And that's just there are so many parts to the problem. And for us in labor and everything, I think our leaders need to do a lot better. We expect these the companies, the billionaires to do what they do, but we have to fight back against it. We can't just sit there and go along with it. And that's the problem. That's part of the problem.
Well, there is a class war.
Yeah.
And it's a one, as Warren Buffett said, we're in a class war and we're winning.
Yeah.
He said that. He said, we're in a class war and we're winning it. And the thing about business unionism, they don't want to say we're in a class war because they want a business relationship with these companies.
Yeah.
That's their whole thing. I mean, for these companies, this is about business, about making more profit. That's what they're about. So I understand that. That's what they're about. But for working people, we need unions that understand that and educate our members. This is what it's all about. And that's why the introduction of these cameras, which are torturing Teamsters and which are going to be used to replace Teamsters, have been accepted and not fought because they're in a business relationship with UPS. I say the members come first everywhere. Whatever union, whatever industry, workers come first. The people come first, beyond the billionaires who really own our country and own the world for that matter. Billionaires, there are more billionaires in China than in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're making money. And, that is really the crisis that we're in now, and it's driving people against the wall. I mean, what happened in Minneapolis is going to happen in many other cities. I mean, they've got $170 billion to build out ICE, to build detention centers all over the
Yep.
country. I mean, is that for immigrants or is that for us?
Yeah. No, I mean,
170
that's
billion.
true.
They don't have money for health care. They don't have money for everything that we need, but they got 170 billion for ICE, for a
Yeah.
military force.
That was
But
crazy when I heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not going to work because the working people of this country are not going to put up with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we just, when I'm, I just, you just can't go along with that. You can't do anything to help the billionaires. They're already getting theirs, right?
Yeah.
We need to fight against it, and it's it's got to be everyone. It's going to take everyone. We know that,
Yeah.
right? And our union leaders need to know that, right? But again, a lot of them are in it for themselves. But the fight goes on, right, Steve?
It
I
does.
mean,
It
that's
never
it.
stops.
Yep.
It
Yep.
never
Continuing
stops. I
fight.
mean, our struggles from your birth to your death,
Yep.
the struggle. But I want to live in a world where human beings come first.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That where we don't have to look at homeless, where we don't
Wow.
have to look at afraid of people going to the doctor. I mean, can you imagine being afraid to go to the doctor?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sick. It is, and it's something that we have to end. And working people have the power. And one of the things about the 30s that frightened the capitalists, this collective power of the working class, they couldn't stop it. And we are going to have a workers' movement in this country. It's coming. Trump is bringing it about. These billionaires are bringing it about. And when the working class in this country move, it's going to be a wave bigger than what we've seen, even in the 60s.
Yeah.
When people wake up and they start moving, you can't stop it. And that's what they're afraid of. That's why they want to spend more money on police and militarizing. I mean, they train the police in Israel, same police are against the Palestinians. They're using here, treating us like that,
Yeah.
shooting us down. I mean, this is like what's going on. And people are not going to put up with it in this country. People have power. The American people have tremendous power. They have
Got to use it.
want to
Yeah,
use it.
we've
I mean,
just got to
that's-
use it. We've got to coordinate. We've got to use it. We've got to get together, and I think that's the biggest hurdle we have to get over.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Ron Carey,
yeah.
that strike, that important strike that was held against UPS. I remember that strike. I covered it. But, at the end of the strike, the New York Times had an article on the strike, assessing the strike, and said the problem with that strike is Ron Carey convinced people that this was about ending part-time work in America, that he had propagandized people to believe that this struggle was about part-time work, ending part-time work. Well, yeah. Why do you have to have part-time workers? Why do you have to have a gig economy where people are hustling from job to job?
Yeah.
Just have a regular job.
Yeah.
So they were complaining about a strike that was successful in convincing people we've got to defend regular permanent jobs.
Yep.
And we have the same struggle today.
Yep.
It has not gone away. So but listen, Steve, you have been a wealth of knowledge. We really appreciate you coming on. We enjoy listening to what you have to say. And we're fighting every day, myself and Garfield, and we've always tried to get other people on board, and it's going to take all of us, and there's no other way. So we thank you, Steve Zeltzer, for being on here, and for myself and Garfield, everyone have a good day.
Solidarity.
Absolutely.
Okay, take care.
We all deal with national language, but on this podcast, when it comes to supplemental language, we deal mostly with the southern region. And as always, it's best to get advice from your local stewards or business agents. If you would like to reach out to us with any questions, we have an email address, 767realitycheck@gmail.com. That's 767realitycheck@gmail.com.
And remember, strong people stand up for themselves, but the strongest people stand up for others.